Hello students, so my name is Gaurav Bansal and we are doing this third iteration of the MCQ practice. Now we have already had two sessions and we've discussed 20 questions under them on our YouTube channel. You can find those videos and by going to those videos you can also check out those previous questions. In this discussion we are continuing from question on previous two and starting from question number 21. Now question number 1 is about NPR. Consider the following statement regarding the National Population Register. So the first point is it is a register of usual residents of the country. Okay, so that is how we define the residents. Okay, because there are NRIs also, they are also technically resident, but they are not residents in India. Okay, they are resident outside India, even though they are Indian citizen. So the NPR registers the usual residents, people who are living in India at a place. So option number 1 is definitely correct. Then the option number 2 is a person who has resided in a local area for past 6 years or more is a usual resident of India. It is 6 months. This is what is wrong here. If a person is living in India for 6 months, then the person is considered usual resident. And if a person is living for more than 6 months abroad, then they are considered NRIs. And if they have also given up on Indian citizenship, then they become the PIO, people of Indian origin or person of Indian origin. So the option number 2 is wrong because it is past 6 months, not past 6 years. Third, it is voluntary for every usual resident of India to register in the NPR. No, it is not voluntary, it is mandatory. Okay. NPR was introduced in 2010, okay, and it is mandatory. So we have to be very clear on that. Recently, the National Population Register that was in controversy because people were trying to link it to the Citizenship Amendment Act, CAA. So we need to understand these two are separate issues and NPR is mandatory. Okay, and how do we carry out this exercise? We carry it out through census. In this case, third option is also wrong. So answer should be 1 only, A. Let us look at the next question now. Question number 22. Arrange the following states in descending order of their service sector share at the state and UT level. So we are aware that Delhi is a city. It is not even a proper state. And Delhi has very little agriculture. Hence, Delhi would have the largest share of service sector. That is not a surprise for everyone. So Delhi should be option number 1. After Delhi, who would be there? I think for that also we should have fair idea. It is not very difficult to find out the second state also, which is Karnataka. Okay, and that is also because we know Karnataka is the IT hub and Karnataka has a lot of service sector concentration. So number 1 and 2 should not be surprised. Even their order, every student should be able to identify. So the larger choice is between option number B and C. Between Punjab and Madhya Pradesh, who has higher share of service sector? So interestingly, it is Punjab which has higher share of service sector rather than Madhya Pradesh. Okay. So we think of Punjab as more of an agriculture state where agriculture would dominate, but it is not true. Even Punjab has highest share, if we look at the three sectors, highest share contributed by the services. And this is natural because Punjab is home to large number of cities, okay, large number of sprawling urban areas with good income. So for example, Ludhiana, Jalandhar, okay, the towns in proximity of Chandigarh, okay. So for example, areas like Mohali, etc. So all of these have good concentration of urban areas and hence the services sector. Hence Punjab is number 3 and Madhya Pradesh is 4th. And if we have to talk about the numbers, Delhi is predominantly services. Delhi has almost 85% of its economy in the form of services sector, which is not a big surprise, okay? Because a lot of government employees, central government employees, bureaucrats, judges, etc. live in Delhi, and all of them are doing jobs. They are in services sector. Okay? In addition, it's a sprawling urban area. And due to pollution issues, we have even decreased the concentration of industry in Delhi. So industry used to have a huge share in Delhi, but it's now very less compared to past. So Delhi, it is dominated by services. And then Karnataka, almost two-thirds of the economy is service sector, means almost 66.6%. That is services sector. Punjab 46% and Madhya Pradesh 36%. So that is the respective share of service sector in each state. I hope it is clear. The larger challenge was to identify whether it is Punjab or Madhya Pradesh. Regarding the option number 3 and 4, 1 and 2 should have been very obvious. Now let us look at the next question. Answer in this case should be B, 1, 2, 3, 4. Question number 23. With reference to fiscal deficit, consider the following statement. Okay, so let us look at the statements regarding the fiscal deficit. It is the difference between the government total expenditure and receipts excluding the borrowing. So this statement is correct. Okay, how do we write? This is total receipts minus debt receipt in capital account minus total expenditure. That is the fiscal deficit. Another way to write is, which is considered as a better way, that is the revenue receipt plus non-debt capital receipt. Minus total expenditure. And as a whole, this is equal to borrowing. Okay, so this is what we have. First option is correct. Second option, monetized deficit is a part of fiscal deficit that is financed by the central bank. Well, for some students, this is a bit of confusing because in India we do not allow for monetized deficit. So some of the students may get this wrong. According to them, this option would not be correct. Okay? But actually, this statement is true. Why? Because it is not India specific. We are not even saying anywhere that this question in the first or second option, this question is about India. We are talking about in general. And in general, it is possible that a country has monetized deficit, and monetized deficit is the portion of fiscal deficit that central bank directly finances, which central bank covers by printing of more currency or introducing more currency. So That is called as monetization of deficit, and that is a possibility. In India, we do not opt for monetized deficit because we've ruled it out as an option. So second, in Indian context, is not present as an option, but still, technically the statement is correct. Third, India's fiscal deficit has consistently increased since the last decade. This is incorrect. So, in the last decade, India's fiscal deficit has seen lots of ups and downs. In 2012, our fiscal deficit was close to 6%, 6.5%, and it decreased to almost 4% by 2017. Then it started to increase after 2017, and in 2019, we had high fiscal deficit for about 5%. And the next year, we have a record fiscal deficit, okay, because of COVID situation. So what we have seen in last 10 years is we saw decrease in fiscal deficit in the first 5 years, and then in the next 5 years, we saw consistent increase in fiscal deficit. So you can't say that there is only one type of pattern that it has increased in the last decade. Third would be incorrect. Answer should be 1 and 2A in case of 23. Let us move to the next question. Essential Commodities Act, ECA 1955, was in news recently. Which of the following statement is or are incorrect about ECA? Let us look at the statement. ECA was enacted to ensure easy availability of essential commodities to consumer. This is correct. Okay. There are some essential products which everybody uses in India. Okay. And for those products, we have to ensure that there is throughout year-round availability and at a fair price. In order to ensure that, we have introduced regulation on the trading of such products, and those essentially are our ECA Act rules, which determine the trading in such products. Option number 2, government intervention through ECA can increase price volatility of essential commodities. This is incorrect. Government, when it intervenes through ECA, actually it tries to stabilize the price. It does not increase price volatility, it increases price stability. Okay. Hence, this statement number 2 is wrong. Statement number 3, ECA incentivizes the storage infrastructure development. Think about it. Okay. What should be there logically? If we have Essential Commodities Act, means we are regulating the trade, we are controlling the trade, how people can buy and sell those products. And this actually would discourage the infrastructure development in that sector, because people would not like to invest, as the sector is government dominated, and private sector cannot, let us say, spend too much money here, because they do not know whether this sector is profitable or not in future, because government is intervening. Hence, sectors where government tries to intervene a lot, over their infrastructure development generally falls from the private sector. It does not incentivize, and hence, okay, and we are particularly talking about storage infrastructure. It does not incentivize. Answer in this case should be D, 2 and 3. Let us look at the next question. With reference to the World Bank's Country Partnership Framework, CPF, consider the following statement. CPF is a data analytics based documents that provides an integrated and selective framework for the World Bank Group's partnership with the country. This statement is incorrect because what is CPF? CPF is more like budget. Okay. Annual statement on likely projects. Okay, what are we likely to do this year? What kind of projects are we financing? What is going to happen? So for that, World Bank has a country specific document under Country Partnership Framework, CPF. But this is not based upon data analytics. It is not a past data based analysis. It is rather an expectation for future. Okay. Statement number 2. CPF indicates the expected lending volume as well as possible instrument of engagement. This statement is correct. And if you look at this statement, what are we seeing? Expected lending volume. How much are we going to take loan from World Bank? Possible instruments of engagement. In what manner those loans will be taken and where they will be spent. So statement number 2 automatically tells us that statement number 1 is incorrect. Statement number 2 is the correct one out of the 1 and 2. Third, its objectives are aligned to the goals of ending extreme poverty and increasing shared prosperity in sustainable manner. This is correct. Here we are referring to the Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals. So 2 and 3 are correct and D is the correct option. Question number 26. With reference to commercial papers, consider the following statement. Statement number 1. These are secured money market instruments issued in the form of promissory note. This looks to be a perfect statement. There is nothing which appears to be wrong. But as I said, appears to be. There is only one word which is wrong here, and that is secured. There is no security. There is no guarantee that you will get your money 100%. Okay, there is no promissory note which is 100% secure. So that is why the first statement is incorrect. Second, these are traded in primary markets only. This is also wrong, by the way, because these are traded in both primary and secondary markets. Okay. If we add and secondary, then this statement would be correct. The first one, these are secured money market instruments. No, these are insecured or unsecured. Okay. So second statement is also wrong. Third, these can be issued by all corporate and financial firms. Even this is wrong, by the way. Okay. Because these can only be issued by the firms, typically corporate firms, which are approved by SEBI to issue them. Not every firm can issue commercial papers. Basically, any company which can issue corporate bonds, the same company can issue commercial papers. The difference between commercial paper and corporate bond is long-term financial instrument, commercial paper are short-term financial instrument. Commercial paper are very, very similar to corporate bonds. And like every bond is a promissory note, they are promissory note, and since every promissory note is unsecured, they are also unsecured. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3 would be the answer because all are incorrect. And we were asking for incorrect here. Next. Question number 27 is the easiest one here. In case you are aware of it, this hawk technology. If you do not know this hawk technology, then this question you can't attempt. Okay? It would be a pure guess. So this is a Factual memory-based question. And since such questions are asked, we do include such questions here. So this is a new technology that is expected to transform the way air conditioner run and power is supplied in the railway coaches. That is correct. The second part, it will reduce the power consumption to a drastic level and thus opening the door towards sustainable use of resources is also correct. So these are true about whole technology, and there is not much to explain or discuss. It's a proper terminology based question, okay, which is memory based. A would be the answer. Question number 28. Consider the following statement regarding commercial coal mining in India. I'm sorry, my throat is really bad today. So in between, I'm taking pauses to breathe up also because my nose is a bit clogged. I've got some cold, and that's why there are some gaps, and in some places I'm catching up with my breath also. So the first option is India will now offer coal mines to private companies for captive use. This is incorrect because captive use was the old system that, for example, who require coals? Let us say an electricity company. So to electricity company only we directly sell the coal mine. They cannot sell the output in the market. They mine the coal and use it for their purpose. That was the captive use system, and that kept the coal sector in India under a huge problem for a very long time. Now what we do is we issue the coal mines throughout the year, and we issue coal mines on revenue sharing basis. You can use the output for your end and you can use the output for revenue also. And government will also share the revenue. So that is what we are doing under the professional or commercial coal mining in India now. Statement 2 is correct. Statement 1 is not correct because rather than captive use, we are actually rather issuing the mines now for the commercial mining and sale purposes. Okay. Captive mine was the old system. So this was all part of the national or the new hydrocarbon exploration policy. Answer is C. Question number 28. Consider the following statement regarding open acreage licensing policy. Oil and gas acreages will be available round the year instead of cyclical bidding as in NLP. This is also correct. Okay. So oil and gas exploration. So that will be available year round for bidding. Earlier the system was cyclical bidding, that 1 year at the end of year or at end of a specific period, every area will come for bidding. Now you can approach to the government anytime according to your requirement if there is exploration scope. Setting up of national data repository is one of the milestone achieved for open acreage licensing policy. That is also correct. National data repository was one of the major objective in national open acreage licensing policy. In this case, both 1 and 2 are correct. Answer is C. And in this case, what is National Data Repository? It's purely factual, so I won't be spending much of time to explain it. It would be available in the hints. You can kindly check out. Question number 30. Which of the following statement regarding study in India program is or are correct? It focuses on attracting foreign students from countries across Southeast Asia, Middle East, and Africa. That is correct. So there are three major target areas. One is Southeast Asia, the ASEAN countries. Okay, a lot of students already come to India for Buddhist studies, but we want it for more than that. We want students from that region to study the professional courses in India, to do engineering, MBA in India. Okay, so we want India to become a destination for education. Second, the program offers fee waivers to meritorious foreign students. That is correct. So just like Australia pushed its education, we are also trying to push our education by offering the fee waivers to the meritorious students. Third, Education Consultants India Limited (EDCIL) is the implementing agency of the program. This is correct. Okay, largely it is done by EDCIL. So all three are correct. And what are the geographies are we targeting? Already a lot of African student is there in India. From Middle East, we do not have that many students, but we are trying to increase their numbers, just like we were able to do so for African students. In some parts of India, now you will see so many Africans as if, there is a lot of local population, but in truth, there are a large number of students there among them. For example, in Punjab, you can see so many Africans today in Jalandhar. That is because so many of them have enrolled in the LPU. And because of that, we have a lot of change regarding the way the urban areas and commutation is visible. Even in Delhi Metro, there are so many African students, those who are visible today. Again, because there are so many work and job opportunities in Delhi for them. Same is the case of Pune and some of the other cities. All the cities which are basically serving as education hub. In all those cities today, we see a lot of African students. So Africa, we have done good penetration. Our performance is good. In Southeast Asia, our performance has been good only for select few courses. But we have not been able to sell ourselves or advertise ourselves as a destination for professional courses. A lot of students come to India because India is the birthplace of Buddhism. And Buddhism is one of the common theme in Southeast Asia and Middle East. Penetration is very less, and this has to improve. So this is regarding our study in India program, and we are basing it on several aspects. One of them is fee waivers, the scholarship test, and this system was utilized a lot by Australia. They used to conduct the scholarship test at various campuses. For example, in Delhi University, they would offer the free scholarship test, and then they will approach you with packages that, okay, you get 70% fee scholarship. Okay, come to Australia, study, we will give you this, and likewise. So that is why they were able to attract a lot of students. This is something we are also going to follow. So answer in this case is 1, 2, and 3. All of these are correct. So this is where the discussion ends. We had 2 to 3 pure factual questions, just like we have in examination for economics. Scheme-based, memory-based question. Okay. There were 2 to 3 conceptual questions also. Okay. For example, regarding commercial paper. For example, regarding the Essential Commodities Act, that was also conceptual. Regarding fiscal deficit also, that was conceptual question. Okay, and trend analysis question. 22 was about data interpretation and economic survey. Okay, and 21 was about a major scheme or reform. So if you look at the question, it is a fair mix of different types. Includes budget survey and other sources from previous years. As soon as the new budget and survey will be there, we will include some questions from that also. And we are ending this session. Thank you. And now, before you log out, you can attempt these tests online. You can scan this QR code and you will reach the page where these tests are conducted. Thank you.